I wrote a book called Hire. This is the proven system for finding top remote talent. What's interesting and ironic is I actually sat down to write a book on delegation. I didn't want to write a book on hiring at all. But every time I tried to write about delegation, I realized that there's a critical prerequisite to delegating effectively, and that's that you have to have someone effective to delegate to. As a matter of fact, in my experience with all of the people that I've coached on delegation, what I've realized is most of their past failures stem from the fact that it's not that they're bad at delegation per se, it's that they're delegating to the wrong people. So the question becomes, how do you find the right people? Lucky for you, I have spent 20 years of my life answering that question. I've begged, borrowed, and stolen every piece of content I could possibly get my hands on over the course of 2 decades and tested them in real business scenarios across real industries in every business I've ever owned. And it's been an iterative process. So the hiring framework that I've put together, if it were a literary character, would be akin to Frankenstein's monster. I say that because it's not mine. It's an amalgamation of everything every intelligent person has ever said on hiring, battle tested, and then brought back into what I hope is easy to follow, templatized, process driven, seamless. At the risk of sounding arrogant, and I don't feel like it's arrogant at all because as I just stated, this isn't my brainchild. I think this is the greatest framework on hiring in existence. And I'd love for you to test it. I'd love for you to test me on that. What's interesting about it is it's not easy per se. There's work involved, but it's so unbelievably accessible. And once you've built it one time, just like any other process or automation, once you've built it, it exists, and then you get to use it in perpetuity for near forever. And this will be true for every role you potentially hire for. So what's cool about this particular framework is it's meant specifically to yield what I call Pareto talent, which are the elite, the best to the best. These are true peak performers. And what's interesting about peak performers is they're actually hard to identify before you start working with them, because peak performance is identified by somebody's work. And so when you're just looking at resumes and you're just looking at interviews, they don't tell you anything. And everybody looks like a peak performer because everybody's trying to look like a peak performer. So it's like hunting for a needle in a stack of needles. But when you use the Pareto talent framework, it allows you to build a funnel that once it's built will automatically filter out people and yield true Pareto talent. And I've done this over and over and over again in a fashion that I've proven can be replicated. And I've done it in a myriad of different businesses. I've built 6 multi-million-dollar businesses. I've had 2 successful exits, 1 for 8 figures. I've employed hundreds, if not approaching thousands of people. And all of that success came from the fact that the thing I'm truly world-class at is talent acquisition. And this is how I do that. So this is my life's work, 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears. I've put it into not just a book, but resources that are available to you. When you read the book, you're going to get all of the templates, all of the resources, the job boards, easy to follow checklists, worksheets that if you really do follow in a step-by-step fashion, I think you're going to find this is the most effective framework for hiring that exists. I'd love for you to challenge me on that. To be honest with you, I'd love for you to see what happens on the other end. When you really start getting your hands on Pareto talent, nothing becomes more addicting than finding really extraordinary people and then just letting them loose in your business. I have yet personally to see anything more impactful. The book is yours free. No cost, no obligation, no paywall. Go to thehirebook.com/free. And you don't just get the entire book on PDF, but you also get all of the associated resources. That includes templated job posts, template trial projects, global job board that shows you where to post the book, cheat sheets, worksheets. I've given you everything that I think you need in order to build your own assembly line to begin finding top talent. And I'm doing this because I want you to see just how accessible it is. So go to thehirebook.com/free, download the book. You're probably 2 or 3 weeks away from your first extraordinary hire. And like I said, once you experience Pareto talent, nothing is more addicting.